Hi everyone, my name's Steph, and in today's episode we'll be talking about the science behind business. Let's take a closer look. When we're doing science, we make a hypothesis and we run tests to find out whether it's true. Imagine starting a new medical treatment or designing a new phone without running any tests. No matter how well you know your medicine or your electronics, it's unlikely to turn out well. Building a business is the same. You've got to start with a hypothesis to test your business model. And this video is about using the lean startup method and validation to test your business ideas. Using this method means that you'll save time and money trying to work on something that won't work or won't work as well as something else. So the lean startup methodology was built by a guy called Eric Rice, and he wrote the Lean Startup Methodology, a book which is a recommended reading. Go and check it out. So in essence, he founded a company called IMVU, which started in 2004. And so this company was meant to pioneer the idea of using 3D avatars. It was a way of combining some of the most popular concepts at the time, where you could go and you could chat with people, and it used 3D technology to, let you interface and become an avatar of your choosing. And so to start the company, they labored over the engineering behind it, all the programming, the huge amount of work behind making this idea happen. And it went on for 6 months, and they worked and they worked. And finally, when launch day came around, no one downloaded the product. After months of research and working after this point, they decided to finally bring some customers in to get some feedback on the product. And they found that it just wasn't something that customers were interested in. The customers wanted something that, they could show to their friends that was cool and had some kind of brand trust behind it. And so in finally getting some of this great feedback from the customers and building something that was really useful, the company sort of stepped back and thought, wow, we've wasted so much time and energy building something that wasn't what anyone had wanted. And so the founder, Eric Rice, pioneered the lean startup methodology from this experience. And so they ran all kinds of tests on customers to see what worked and what didn't, and pioneered the idea of a minimum viable product using half-baked features. And so through this process, they became a hugely successful company, inviting millions of users to their site. And so validation is super important and core to this whole idea. Validation isn't about going and visiting your mum or your best friend and saying, hey, what do you think about this business idea? They're not going to give you the real feedback that you need. They haven't run the real tests to see what's actually going to happen. One of the fantastic tests that IMVU did at the time was ran a split screen website where half the customers were able to see the new experimental website, and the other half of the customers saw the old website. On the new website, they advertised the company as having 3D avatars, and on the old website, they had avatar chat. And so they found that by doing this, the customers that were shown the experimental website actually became longer users and became mostly long-term paying customers, which is pretty fantastic. Another great example of using a minimum viable product to test your ideas is the company Zappos. Before it was bought up by Amazon, it was one of the most popular places to go and buy shoes online, but it didn't quite start out that way. So when it first began, the founder at the time was really frustrated because he couldn't go and just buy shoes online like he wanted to. And so he had a hypothesis. He wanted to test that idea, but without spending a lot of money and time building something that customers didn't want. So what he did was he set up a website, and he went down to some of the local shoe stores and asked to take pictures of their inventory. And so he put up those pictures of those shoes up on his website to see whether customers would actually go and buy them. And so he ended up finding that customers were interested, and every time he got an order, he went down to that shoe shop, bought the shoes and shipped them out as they were. And so it wasn't until the demand became too much for him that he actually went and ordered stock for the first time. And so this story is a great example of not spending any excess money on stock or other things that you don't need to do that test. And the test is also great because it put customers in a position where they actually had to either buy or not buy on the website. So it was a very genuine test. You also need to validate that the problem that you're working on is a problem that someone has. One of the best ways to do this is by doing the 50 coffees method, where you actually go out and you sit down and you speak to customers about their pain points or the problems that they're having without going and pitching your idea, genuinely listening and understanding the customer and the problems that they have. And so by doing this, the more conversations that you have, the bigger the picture you can build of what customers are actually feeling. And you might end up finding a better problem to work on by doing that and having that deeper understanding. And so one of the best ways to start off, if you do have a business idea, is by using one of these lean startup canvas models. And so what you do is you get one of these online, you print it out in A3 and you work through it in pencil. And in 20 minutes, you can start to flesh out a bit of an idea of how this business idea will look. And so check out the links below to download a copy of one of these for yourself. And so the fact is, most startups tend to fail. We often think success is inevitable with the right amount of hard work and output, but it's not about how talented you are or whether you're in the right place at the right time. It's whether you actually go and you do the validation properly and you do the science behind your business idea to find out whether it's going to work or not. And so the lean startup methodology can be engineered, which means it can be learned, which means it can be taught. So go and check out the Lean Startup book for so much more information on this topic. Now, this is a brief overview of validation and the lean startup methodology, but the Startup On-Ramp course, which is offered at a subsidy through the Advanced Queensland program, is up and running right now, and it's a great way to road test your ideas over a 10-week intensive course looking at this in intense detail. And so thanks so much for watching. Join me in the next video to go and have a bit of a deeper look at how you can build a website, how to run a smoke test, and a look into what types of websites are best for what you're doing using the lean startup ideas. Thanks again for watching. My name's Steph. We'll see you in the next one.